Hi, my name is Christina and I manufacture, own, and retail everything in Hazel May. Today I'm going to do a process video on how you manufacture the baby bibs and how they come together. So here's my little sheet of fabric, and then here is my sheet of microfiber backing. What I do is I place these two items on top of each other, and then I get my pattern and I trace with a pin what I want the pattern to be. I want to start right here where the opening is, and what I'm going to do is just serge really fast around this thing. The trick to getting a nice round bib is to serge really, really fast. Next thing you're going to do is, you guys want to know why I didn't pin. Okay, let's talk about the pinning. I'm going to say the not pinning thing comes with experience, and I don't recommend that anybody doesn't pin. You definitely should pin about every inch if you're pretty new to this, but the way you're going to do it is by shoving the pin in down and underneath, and you want the pin to look like this. And as you're serging or sewing around, which some people may do, you just pull the pin when you get to the part you're serging off or sewing. And if you do decide to sew it rather than serge it, I recommend not cutting the pattern out, just leaving it on the square block and sewing around first with just a regular straight stitch, then trimming, then going back through with the zigzag. That way you'll have nice clean edges, and it's quick and simple that way. So I have my little raw opening edge here. You just cut it off like so. Don't be nervous. I'm going to move over to my ironing board. This part is a lot of fun. It's probably the most aggravating part of my day, which is going to be flipping these inside out. So you have your whole, pardon the sexual innuendos, I don't mean to say them, but it is what it is. You really just shove your finger in there, and you push with your finger until you get that edge out nice and round. Now you're going to reach into the hole and hook your finger along the side of the fabric and really massage and pull it out through the hole so you have a good start, and just cram it. Cram all the fabric into that hole as much as you can. Practice. So still cramming. As you can see, the bib is disappearing into this little hole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch the top of this hole out a little bit over here where everything has been crammed up into, and I'm going to grab a piece and pull it out. I'm going to open it, jab my finger in, I know, I'm sorry, and pull it out. And I'm going to open it wider again, jab my finger into the hole, and pull it out. And I'm just going to keep doing that until my bib is inside out completely. So now I'm almost out. I've come to the final round corner, and I'm actually going to just pinch it until it comes out round. By pinching, I really just mean you pinch it and then you roll it back and forth a little bit. And after you've done that enough times, voila, you have a totally rounded corner. Now if you look here, it's still not perfectly round, so what you're going to do again is just go around the edges with your finger and roll these creases out, roll the sharp corners out, and that'll really make for a nice, clean, round fit. When I start sewing on this open edge, and I just sew the label right in, and then I'll go completely around. When I iron the bib, I just put on cotton setting. I use some starch. I probably shouldn't show the name because that would be copyright problems or whatever, trade problems. But it's a simple process. You just iron it, get it nice and flat. And then you just move over to your sewing area and you sew all this shut, and I'll show you how to do that too. I'll try to get this as close as possible for you guys. Now while I'm going around, I'm making sure to actually press and hold down the seam while I'm going around so that it doesn't curl up or curl any direction. Plus I'm making sure I'm keeping all of this fabric flat, because if you don't keep it flat, when you do the other edge, this middle part is going to pucker up. So you want to make sure that it's flat at all times, but you don't want to pull on the fabric because it's going to screw up your stitch. Now I'm about to come around this corner. Usually I get to the top, I stop, and then I turn around. This is the part you're really going to want to take your time on, because it is the finishing work and you really want this to be perfect. I'm going to slow down as I'm approaching the closure part and attempt to make them match, which it seems like I did successfully. And I'm just going to go back and forth with it a couple times to make sure it's cemented in. And here we go. So I've reached the final phase of making my bibs, which is going to be to add the snaps to each side. As you can see, there's a nice professional wiggle stitch all the way around the bib, and the tag is properly inserted. It won't come off when it pulls. So all I need to do is IP, which means cut off all of these little strings. And so if you've made it this far, you've reached probably the second most unpleasant part of bib making, next to flipping it inside out with all the cramming and shoving, and it's a bunch of nonsense. So I actually have a great little organizer for my snaps. Got it at Hancock's Fabric on sale, which is great. It has the 4 different components, which is going to be the cap, the positive prong, the open prong, and negative piece. So I'm going to take my bib right here, as you can see, and shove my open cap through the top right here, and just push it through, and make sure that the snap comes all the way through the fabric. Some of you may be considering using Velcro. I don't recommend using it. When I first started selling the bibs, I was using Velcro, and I learned after many washes that they will fall off ultimately. The snaps too, I'm sure with hundreds of washes, will fall off. By the time your child has outgrown bibs, it'll probably still be there. So I have the dritz hand stamp thing. I'm not really sure what it's called, but the yellow part has a hole right there. You shove the positive end into that hole, and you eyeball it really closely. You can see right here, if I were to push it right now, it's not centered. So I want to make sure that both of these pieces are centered on each other. If you screw up, don't feel bad. Honestly, I've been doing this for about a year, and I'm still making mistakes getting these snaps on. So I'm going to just snap it together. You want to go back on this side and make sure that there's no middle prong sticking out. That means you did it wrong. And now I'm going to apply the small eye cap the same way I did. And there is a difference between these two sides. You want to do it on the side that has the ring, not this side. This side has no ring underneath it. This has like a, I wish you could see it better, it has a ring-like channel. That's the side you want the prongs to go into. So you're going to line everything up. It doesn't really matter which side goes where. And just get it all centered and gently push, and you're done. Don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard, it's gonna warp it, and it's not gonna look good, and you're not gonna be happy because the snap's gonna be hard to remove. But here it is. We have a snapped bib now, which is beautiful and will look wonderful on the wonderful family that ordered it. So this is my short little process video on how we make Hazel May bibs here in our shop. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll probably do another one. Maybe I'll cover burp cloths or something next time. Thank you for supporting Handmade. This is Hazel May. Bye.